Alright, so what I have here are two of the exact same tire in different durometers. This is a harder tire, the harder version, and it's a 62 is the durometer that I saw online, and this one is 45. That's the durometer I saw online. Okay, so, and by the way, this is the Burris QRC 33. This is the Burris TX 22. Now, when I tested both of these, I really love the 33. It's super responsive. It's controllable, super stable. I really like this tire a lot. It's grippy. It's great. It's a wonderful tire. But I wanted to try something softer. The idea was a softer tire would absorb more of the shock when you go riding off road. It'll absorb more of the bumps. And it kind of did that, but it was at a cost. And I'm gonna explain why I didn't like the softer tire. When going straight on ahead, I did break my speed record with the softer tire. It turned out I went a little bit faster. I mean, I didn't realize it, but my phone went off and said basically you just broke your speed record, and I was surprised. But I was just going straight ahead. And when I was going off-roading as well, on a gravel road near my house, there's a bunch of rocks and gravels. It was pretty smooth, just going straight ahead, no problem. Here's where the problem comes in with the softer tire. Is when you're turning, or when I was turning, the response felt very slow. It's almost like I would start my turn, and then the tread would almost like shift over a little bit. And I'm going to try to display that here in a second, but let me explain what it felt like was happening. So it felt like I was riding, and when I would lean to turn, the treads would shift over a little bit. That's what it felt like. And then the turn would start to happen. And then when I go back to normal, so it felt like a real delay in the response, the delay in the response of when I was turning. And it sounds crazy because you wouldn't think that it would make that much of a difference, but it was extremely noticeable, the difference. It was extreme. So that's part of why I'm making this video. And the other thing actually that happened a lot too with the softer tire was when I was riding, it almost felt like I was constantly in a little bounce. Like I felt this, it almost reminded me of those lowrider cars where you see them driving on the road and they're just like, they call them boats, but they're kind of like bouncing like that. It had kind of that feel to them, to it. So it just was like a constant mini bounce, and it was kind of annoying. I didn't like it, but what made it even worse was it got amplified at higher speeds. So once I started getting to around 16, 17, 18 miles an hour, I noticed the bounce a lot more, and it became a little scary to ride because the stability, you start losing stability when you're bouncing like that, and then especially if you're carving a little bit and it's shifting, I felt like I was losing stability, and it's like, okay, wait, slow down a little bit here. Straight ahead, it actually was no problem. Like I said, I broke my speed record, it was fine. But once I start like just doing shifting a little bit and trying to turns, I lost a lot of stability with the softer tire. And so that's why this tire is great, and I would recommend. I don't know if a harder tire than this would be better, but this tire rides great, and the durometer, according to a picture I saw online, is 62. The response was immediately when you're turning. There's like, I don't feel any kind of shifting. It's like you tell it to turn, it turns immediately. There's no delay. The grip is just as good, and actually, it doesn't make any sense to me, but I almost want to say that the grip on this tire was better than on this tire. So I don't know if it's just the compound is different itself, and that's why, but the grip on this feels just as good. Like, when I try like staying in place or like doing 180s or spins, I felt like the softer tire actually kind of spun a little bit easier. So I don't know the reasoning behind that, because it sounds nuts to me. It doesn't make sense. But so let me physically demonstrate what I can in a video. I don't know of a good way to do this, but maybe some of these demonstrations will answer some questions. So, I thought the bounces were coming from maybe the softer sidewalls, maybe. But when I grab this is the softer sidewall, the softer tire, and I'm squeezing it. This is the sidewall. Okay, this is the sidewall on the softer tire. Okay, it's bendable, it's foldable. Actually, let me get my Vega. let me get the Vega in the picture here. If I get the Vega in the picture, maybe that's what people have, and then they can kind of make judgments based on that. So, by the way, this white Vega, I just looked it up on the internet, and it was really hard to find the durometer for it. But I found on a go-kart forum for the white Vega, Carlson Motorsports. They did a durometer test, and they said it was from 56 to 58. So this is 62, 56 to 58, and this one's 45. Okay, so the durometers are pretty close to each other, and personally, I would recommend if you don't know anything about the tire that you're buying, I would get a durometer in this range, around 60, close to 60 is what I would get, because it's tested, and at least by me. And if you've ridden the Vega, you know, I mean, it works. So anyways, so let's look at the sidewalls here. Let's do a little test on the sidewalls. Okay, so this is the sidewall for the 65. I can grab it, bend it. Okay. Not too bad. Here's the Vega. Ooh, stiff. So Vega makes a very stiff sidewall, and you can see there's like a kind of like a, I don't know if it's a wire or metal or something, but it goes up high on the sidewalk here, from the bead all the way up to almost around the turn here, or the, I don't know what you call it, the corner. There's like a stiff material there. This doesn't have it that high. This tire goes up it's very short. So you know the corner is right here. And it only goes up to here. So it has a very high and stiff, like supported sidewall. I don't know how. That's the best I can describe it. Hopefully you can see that in the video there, because that's how big that ring is there on the sidewall. It's pretty big. Actually, where's my measuring tape? So I think you can see it from the picture here. So it's like that big. You go to this one, it's like that big. And then here's the softest tire. And you know, the funny thing is the softer tire actually feels like it has a stiffer sidewall than this harder compound tire. So the sidewall feels stiffer, but maybe it's because it's less used, I'm not sure. But same thing. There, look at that, the sidewall, that reinforcement there, it's not that high. Okay, so Vega has a super stiff sidewall, and it's because they have some kind of reinforcement that goes up pretty high, which makes it a kind of a pain in the butt to put on and take off of the rim compared to these other tires. Not too bad though once you get the technique. And you can watch my other videos to see the technique on that. So the one thing I want to point out here is, I was talking about when I was turning, there was like a shift, like a delay. So like you turn and then it shifts a little bit and then you finally get your turn. So there's a delay in the response to the tire. Okay, and I don't know if I can demonstrate that. Maybe I'll just, but definitely I hear while I'm feeling it, I can feel the difference when I'm poking the tire on my finger. Like this feels pretty firm, right? Like I'm poking it. That's bad. Poking it, yeah. Well, you know, it's more noticeable with the tread, I think. I don't know, the slicks, it has the same effect. But here, with this one, let me see, to put it in front of the camera here real quick. This one you can tell, like, at least when I poke it with my finger here, there's like a shift. Like I can move it back and forth. I can wiggle that tread much easier, left and right. And if I do it with this one, it just doesn't shift as much. It doesn't shift left and right. So I don't know of a good way to show it in a video. You know, I could just say I rode them and it was very obvious. I mean, you know, every movement that I can make with my finger here or whatever, it was really amplified when you're actually riding it. So yeah, I don't know. I think there you might be able to see it a little bit more. I get close to the camera. So here's the camera. Let me see if I can see the tires bending itself. Let me pull the bottom here and try to watch this line right here. Okay. Hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. See how it shifts left and right a little bit? I think that's what's causing the delayed response when turning, and it actually feels a little unsafe, to be honest. But there, so you see there, you see the tread kind of like the rubber bending there? Yeah. Okay, and then I'll show you the harder one. So we'll see if it does the same thing. Because yeah, it's very slight. It doesn't give as much. Hopefully you can see that on camera. I'm trying to make it really noticeable, but it's something that's really hard to show on camera, but that's my experience, and I just wanted to document it and kind of explain to other people my experience and why I believe a super soft tire is not always going to be your best option. Because at first thought it'll just be a smoother ride, right? It'll absorb everything, no problem. The only thing that people used to worry about was the wear, that it would wear faster. But I don't think that's the case. There's a real performance issue with a really soft tire. So there, that's my 2 cents on it. Like I said, if somebody tried a softer tire from a different manufacturer and they liked it, that's going to mean more than just this generalization of softer versus harder. But if you don't know much about that tire, I would recommend probably going middle of the road with a durometer and getting something that's closer to around 60. If you're testing new tires out that haven't been tested before, or maybe for whatever reason, if you want to go the safe route, go with something that's closer to the middle of the road in durometer. And that's this 60 right here, 60 and 58 with the white Vega. Anyways, hopefully this has been helpful, and leave some comments.